We are the Y'all Show, talk with a Southern accent. We're continuing on with our spring swing tour of the Southeast here on the program that covers everything in the South. And we're in Crystal River, Florida for our spring swing tour as we had John Pritchard on in the opening segment here with us. And we're going to have a very special guest in hour two. We're going to go out in the water of Crystal Spring, Florida. Dave Perry, who has the business Hunter Springs Kayak, is going to be coming on as a special guest in hour two, and we're going to get our adventure on as we have this swing of the Southeast, specifically here on today's Y'all Show, Crystal River, Florida. Now, water and food and great lodging and golf and more, you can find that in Crystal River, Florida, and you can find that at the Plantation. The Plantation on Crystal River in Crystal River, Florida. And we have the GM of that property joining us right now for a conversation, and that's Michael Mancke. Welcome into the Y'all Show, Michael.
Thank you.
Well, we're excited about your property. I mean, you talk about variety, and we're going to let people know about all the aquatic activities as well as the golf and the spa and more that you have there. But you juggle a lot of balls there at Plantation on Crystal River.
Yes, we do. We like to think of ourselves as the most full service resort from Clearwater up to the Panhandle.
Well, you definitely do that. How many employees do you have there?
It's seasonal, but between 100 and 150, depending on time of year.
Okay. Well, what is the busiest time when you say time of year? What is the busiest time? And this is a bad example with this virus going on to ask that
Correct.
question.
It is a bad example. We have actually two little peaks of high season. We have the wintertime traditional Florida, which is bolstered up significantly by our Swim with the Manatee program that starts in the late fall and goes through about right now, April. And then in the summertime, in July kicks in, we have scalloping season, which peaks up. So frankly, March and July keep competing for being the biggest months of the year for us. And scallop season runs from July 1st until the 24th of September. And manatee season, like I say, runs from mid-November through April. Although we do have manatees here year round to swim around with them, so it keeps going all year.
Now, I'm sure you're right in touch with Tallahassee and Governor DeSantis. Are you hearing anything about when people like you can be a little bit more open to the public and have things for people to come down and see?
Well, we're every day gets a little bit better. We're getting able to rent some boats now. Actually, that was a city ordinance, and as long as we do the social distancing and the guidelines, we're fine with that. We're waiting to see when we can start running our tours again. Right now, we're not doing that because you do have a few people sitting together on a boat to go out into the day to swim with the manatees. So once that gets loosened up a little bit, I'm hoping we can do more and more every day.
Visiting with Michael Mancke, the general manager of the Plantation on Crystal River in Crystal River, Florida. And when you come into that area, you've got that property that is just amazing. And John Pritchard, in the opening of our show, gave us a little idea of what you got there. What is your lodging availability there at Plantation on Crystal River?
So we have 196 total units. 12 of them are little golf villas across the street, upstairs, downstairs loft villas that look out over the first hole in the driving range. And the rest are on the main property that's right adjacent to a canal system that goes out into the Crystal River. And then 9 miles down the river, we're in the Gulf of Mexico.
And we've got some video we'll be sharing of the Plantation on Crystal River right now. Starting off, we'll talk about some of the aquatic activities. Then we'll get over to the lodging and the spa and the other fun things like golf that you've got there. So when we come to Crystal River and we come to your place there, Plantation on Crystal River, tell us a little bit more about the aquatic activities available.
Well, again, we're on the headwaters of Crystal River. This area has like 7 rivers that run through it, and we go from freshwater all the way out to the Gulf of Mexico. We actually operate what we call the Adventure Center, and it's also a full-service dive shop where we rent boats, we rent fishing rods, we sell you bait. We also have boat rentals that go out into the Gulf of Mexico. We have a boat ramp. You can bring your own boat. There's 1,600 feet of seawall around the property that you're allowed to tie your boat up to, and you can walk right out your door and get on your boat and go do your own thing. We work with about 50 local fishing captains as well that do fishing charters as well as scalloping charters through the summer.
Okay. And I'm looking at some of the video of the manatees swimming around right now. Michael, how I know you're north of Tampa, probably about an hour or so away. When you come to your property, do you kind of really feel like you're in old Florida and you're nowhere close to a big city?
Correct. We are what we call original Florida. I always tell people if you want to know what we look like in Florida like 100 years ago, that you can come on down and see what it is now. The nice thing about it, though, is we do still have Wi-Fi, so you can connect to the internet and not be totally left out in the wilderness. But we have very few chain restaurants around here, a lot of mom and pop locals, so it works really well.
And I'm seeing some of the video. You're not too far from the Gulf of Mexico. Do you offer charters or connections to charters to go out in the Gulf?
Yes, we do. We have, like I say, about 50 fishing captains we work with that can take you out. And we have a unique fishery here with the shallow water grouper fishery as well, which is unique. Most people go out way far and go really deep. We can do it much shallower, and it works really well.
Okay. And it looks like a lot of fun as you go kayaking. You can get one of the little John boats as you got the Plantation Adventure Center there and really experience Florida in a way that, unless you're there on the ground or maybe on a boat, I mean, Michael, I don't know how much longer I can sit here and watch this video without getting in the car and coming right to you. I mean,
What are you waiting for? Come on down. Not that far from Mississippi.
no, Mississippi, Tennessee, wherever we might be located, we got to get to, again, the Crystal River, Florida area and see the adventure there from an aquatic standpoint. It's what we've been spotlighting here, snorkeling and more. You're not going to have any sharks going to bite you when you're in Crystal River, I hope.
None that'll bite. We don't pay them to do that. I mean,
Okay.
there might be a shark or two around. I won't lie to you because it is the wild, Gulf of Mexico right there. Even our manatees that come in, they're not paid to be here. They decide to come in on their own to eat the grass and stay at the warm springs, which is another aspect of our areas. We have the second largest magnitude of freshwater springs in the whole state of Florida. So paddleboarding and kayaking and swimming around is a good recreation. Matter of fact, when you come back in from scalloping all day, where you swim around looking for scallops, you're all salty, and you stop by the spring on the way back and refreshing that 72-degree crystal clear spring water.
Mm, you're calling my name, Michael. We're again talking with the general manager of Plantation on Crystal River, Michael Mancke, here on today's Y'all Show. The website is plantationoncrystalriver.com. And this property just north of Tampa, about an hour or so, you can go there and great time of year. Whenever you're given the green light to get out of your quarantine, make your plans right now to go to Crystal River and check out Plantation on Crystal River. All right, Michael, let's talk about, besides the water, your property has so many other options for people to enjoy, and we're going to play some video of those options. Golf, lodging, of course. You've got great food there. Feel free. The floor is yours, Michael.
Yeah, we have, like we say, we like to think of ourselves as probably the most full service resort from north of Tampa Bay area all the way until you turn around the Big Bend into the Panhandle of Florida. We have a restaurant, a tiki bar, a 19th hole at the golf course, so we can take you outside, inside. If you whatever you catch fishing wise or scalloping wise, we can cook up for you. And the restaurant chef's really good at that. Serves it family style. We also have an Aveda spa, full service spa. Get your hair done, get some nails done, get rubbed and buffed, and whatever you need to do there. Fitness center in the property as well. Bike rentals, bunch of little parks around the area you can go hiking at. Just have a great time with your own activities, or we can help you along with those.
Amazing. And I've seen some of the imagery here on your Plantation on crystalriver.com site. Your food, if you don't mind, give us a little bit of an insight on what options you have food wise.
But we do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I start breakfast at 6 a.m. so people can get out there and maybe get a good hearty meal before they get on the tour boats and the fishing charters. It's just traditional Florida. We like to think of ourselves as having a Southern hospitality with Florida charm. So that encompasses a lot of things, but it gives you some biscuits and gravy along with some, fresh capers and salmon sometimes. And at night, we like to focus on our fresh seafood all day long: shrimp, scallops, grouper, snapper, cobia when it's in season. And the chef just came up with a new dish we're going to feature soon. I love it. It's a sauteed grouper over some Gouda grits with bacon, gravy, and bacon tomato gravy. So it's really tasty.
It is tasty, and I'm looking at the West 82 Bar and Grill there that you have on your property, and all the delicious options. That hamburger, by the way, caught my attention, but all of the shrimp entrees. Oh goodness! Again, I'm going to have to make my plans right now, and I'm sure everybody watching and listening to the Y'all Show is making plans. All you got to do is go to plantationoncrystalriver.com and check out how you can make your reservations and head south, or maybe if you're in South Florida, head north if you want to, and check out this great property with so many options. And again, located in Crystal River, Florida. Our guest, Michael Mancke, general manager of the property, is on with us right here on today's Y'all Show. And so, again, we're a southern based show. What is it that you have there, let's say, you can't find in states? You picked on Tennessee and Mississippi a minute ago, but if you're in the Carolinas and more, not all that far from where you are there in Crystal River, Florida, I know you've got some things there that they're just not going to have anywhere else in the 16 southern states.
Well, again, we touched on it a little bit earlier. The two major things that not many or anybody else has is swimming with the manatees. That's
Yeah.
not even legal. That's not even legal in the rest of the states or the country, even though the manatees may be around. And then scalloping. The scalloping region is just in the Big Bend down to just north of Tampa. So that's unique. Our shallow water grouper fishing is unique. Our freshwater springs are unique. The fact that you can tie all that in with a golf course, someplace to sleep and eat and go out to the tiki bar and have a good time riverside. I mean, there's a lot of great places you can do a lot of great things, but
Mm-hmm.
right now, not many you can tie all those things together, especially the manatees and the scalloping.
And Michael, looking at what you have there with all the different property options, something tells me, especially in the spring and summertime in normal conditions, you have, let's say, more than your fair share of weddings there on the property.
We do. We have a long point that has a gazebo on the end, and matter of fact, check out the Facebook page. Our media lady had just posted one of the brides came on her big boat to the wedding. So we have had actually people come and get married and get in kayaks and go down to Three Sister Springs or Hunter Springs and get married on the kayaks, and then come back and finish up the celebration here at the plantation. We do have about 12,000 square feet of meeting space, so indoor space is available as well for not only weddings but regular meetings,
Yeah.
incentives.
Yeah. All you business executives of the South, listen to Michael. He's given you a very good hint. It sounds like a perfect destination for a business trip because everybody's got something that they'll love there, from the spa to the golf to of course, everybody can unite over good food, right, Michael?
Right. We have an activities director that we had a group in not too long ago that did a cardboard boat building. They built a boat out of cardboard and duct tape and saw if they could make it from one end of the pool to the other.
That
Great
is
team building.
that is something I haven't heard. Now, Michael, as the general manager, I'm sure you get involved with all types of things there at Plantation on Crystal River. Personally, what are some of the fun things you enjoy there at Plantation on Crystal River?
Well, I love to fish. That's one of my primary things. I don't do it
We
near enough.
Michael, there's no way I would believe that. That is a fish tale. Can you prove that you actually fish?
Not recently because I've been working too hard, but there's a fish in the background if you guys
Yeah,
can see it.
that's what I was getting at.
That's
What are we looking at there? What is that?
that's a snook or SNOOK, snook or snook. Actually, they're really hot right now. The fishing has been really strong for the snook season. They really catch up on the spring and go through year round, but I'm from Tennessee originally, and I grew up bass fishing and loved it. And I found out that a 5 pound snook could probably eat a 5 pound bass. They're that much more aggressive and basically use the same tackle.
Oh,
Get your bass rod out and sometimes the same lure. The big difference is you add maybe a 20 or 30 pound leader in front of that 12 to 20 pound test you're using on that bass rod.
where did you catch that particular snook?
This one was down in Southwest Florida actually, but I've caught two or three right off the end of the point here, equal that size here. I just let them go before. That's actually a replica mount too,
Oh,
because
okay.
even when I caught that one, she was out of season. So we always try to keep in the conservation side of stuff, and the wife was nice enough to buy me the replica mount. So,
Oh, okay. And just so we don't offend your family in Tennessee, you better give a shout out to them.
oh, hey everybody in Tennessee, go Vols!
What part?
Born in Knoxville, actually went to UT.
Okay. And I don't see a single thing orange in your office there.
Well, I live in Florida, so I like to keep my life happy. And I do have a T sticker on the back of my car, but I had to put it on the inside of the windshield so people wouldn't keep taking it off or sticking a gator sticker over the top of it.
Yeah, there is that little rivalry between the Vols and the Gators. Wrapping up our conversation with Michael Mancke at Plantation on Crystal River. Check out this property. Again, it's about an hour north of Tampa. And if you're coming from south of Tallahassee, just head on south. Again, you're a Tennessee native, so how do you describe for those northerners like people in Georgia and Tennessee how to get to your place?
Well, if you're heading down from, 75, come right down, or if you're on the East Coast, head down 95 and cut across 10. And then you go right to the exit where State Road 44 is, which should be. I'm trying to get the John to put up a big sign to say you're now reaching the capital of manatees and scalloping. Right there, get off the exit. About 7, 8 miles to the west, and you're right in Crystal River.
All right. Well, Michael, thank you again. And speaking of John, John's going to be coming on. He's talking about John Pritchard of Discover Crystal River. John's going to be back on with me at the end of the next hour to give us one last glimpse of everything going on in Crystal River, Florida. Michael, thank you again for your time, and we look forward to getting down there. And instead of doing this thing virtual, I want to go see the real snooks available there at Plantation on Crystal River.
John, you're welcome. Come on down. We'd love to see you.
All right. Thank you again. Michael Mancke, everybody. Well, that will wrap up our Y'all Show here for this hour. We've got another hour. Again, John's going to be back on to talk more about Discover Crystal River. We also have Dave Perry, and he's with Hunter Springs Kayaks. He's going to be coming on and talk about how you can get in his kayak boats and go all throughout the rivers and tributaries of Crystal River, Florida. All that coming up in hour two, plus a little SEC sports talk. That ought to make Michael happy. We'll maybe even find some Vol news for him. Go Vols, Rocky Top. Woo! All that coming up in hour two of this, the Y'all Show, talk with a Southern accent.